in a way, like I'm surprised like how welcoming the community is. So, I think the thing is, especially like with the history of like hip hop, and I think especially with the history of Africa and like all the kind of negative things that have happened with colonization and all that type of stuff, I think it's really easy for people to be like, right, we have this thing, like, you know, from Ghana, we've built this thing, it's now getting, you know, spread across the world. We need to like close the doors, keep the community locked in, and like this is our thing, and don't, you know, and be almost like not trusting of outsiders in a way. I think that would be a really understandable reaction to be like, cool, with all the horrible history we have, I get why you're closed about this community. And I almost have like when I first started experiencing Afro, even with you guys or like other people, I almost expected that response of like, you know, if I go to like a cypher, I'd like, all right, they're not going to let me in, or like it's going to be their thing and I'm going to respect that, but it's their thing. But I've experienced the complete opposite. And it's like anyone that I've seen that's like not from an African country that's wanted to learn the styles has been like welcomed. Jumping in ciphers, it's like ciphering with Afro-dancers is sick. Like I've enjoyed that so much. And it's like there's no, even I've had worse reactions from like b-boys or poppers where it's like, if you're a breaker, if there's a break-in cipher and I jump in doing popping, sometimes you get the like, you get pushed out, or it's like, nah, this is a break-in cipher. Afro-dancers, yeah, come in, do your popping shit. We're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do house. And like, what is it that makes, I know like I spoke to Olu a little bit about this and she said it's like, especially with the stuff that she's experienced, like let's say Nigerian culture is very like welcoming, and like it's like kind of that mentality is passed down of just like you be welcoming to guests in your house kind of thing. Thanks. But like, is there anything like, do you find it like that with the Ghanaian dances? Do you find like that translates across like all the African countries? Are there some places where it's not as welcoming maybe? I'm just so interested in this mentality.
I think as a whole, like genuinely, like a lot of the cultures in Africa are very welcoming. Yeah. In terms of actual like way of life. So you go to someone's house and they're from African descent, they're gonna welcome you in, they're gonna feed you. Someone's grandma, mom's gonna ask if you're hungry, get a drink. Like it's that has already been an ethos. You don't shut people out because despite what we've gone through in history, we're still here. Yeah. Right. And we have the unity of our community that keeps us going like through and through. So again, after colonization, us being independent and free, we can now celebrate and now, you know, make our own revolutions to go forward. That carries in our spirit, and it's like at the same time being first generation or second generation in London as well, like going to school and college and uni, you have so many friends of different cultures. There's no time to be like like it would be weird because like your best friend could be Asian, your best friend could have been white growing up. Like no one cares. It's just, you have to find a way to be like, it's just love. So because I think for me, I can't speak for Kay, but for me, I think me seeing a room full of people full stop just boogieing down to my country's music, it gives me my heart's warm because of I grew up doing this in parties and hall parties and stuff like that. You lot all doing it now just for vibes. I'm gassed. Sick. So I don't have time to be like, oh, you do breaking, you can't come. What doesn't make sense. Like do the flare again. Do it in it. Like do it again. Like I actually want you to come and do the headspin over here. Like just because it's like it's our tracks. It's our, and I think because we spent so many years not being able to dance to our music in London outside of our spaces. Because in a rave, we have a 10-minute segment. When we got to like, by year 11, year 12, we go into raves now and stuff, or even like shubs, like house parties, we had like 3 tracks. Hip hop will get an hour, you know, house, funky out, everyone get like nice.
I feel like even dancehall had a bigger...
Dancehall was bigger back
section,
then,
like in that
at the time,
era.
The bashment, the raves, like it was much more dancehall orientated. But even them still had their sections. But again, there was love there because again, you have much more of that community came into the UK much earlier. When Rush and that stuff. So they're already in the melting pot faster than African was. So for us, it's like, why would I not allow you to be in here because of like history? Right. And I'm not saying you can't. If you want to be like a bit more of a gatekeeper or a bit more like strict, fair enough. And I think there needs to be a thin line of like, don't let anyone just come and just take your stuff and bounce because that's not on. But at the same time, we can't excel or grow our music and dance if we keep shutting everyone out. Because example is, say me and Curtis were in Boy Blue, but we didn't have access to go to, I don't know, this certain theatre, and you did for whatever reason, and you mess with us. Why do I not allow you to be in our space to maybe take our stuff with you to that space, and then maybe bring us over later? There has to be a level of business as well as like love for like community. That doors open because of people and just being a nice person. Just be kind. If you're always orientated in a certain way of making moves and it's like calculation is like, they don't roll with us, or they didn't say cool to me last week, or blah, blah. Cool, do that, but let's see how far that goes, as opposed to let's be kind and just move with the energy of love for the music and dance, and let's see how far that goes. Because not everyone's gonna be nice. People are nuts. People are weird. At the same time, our music isn't. Our music speaks love and praise and culture and unity. Fun, like the music says that. So my track saying, go down low. How can I not you come and go down low with me? It doesn't make sense. Like I'm going against the music, like saying go down low together. Like they might as well do it together. It's like candy. Like it's electric slide. Everyone jump in. It's not that. It's weird. Yeah. So for me, it wouldn't make sense to even be in that space. It goes against where we came from. Yeah.
For me, I would say you have to remember there was a time where being African in the UK wasn't cool. It was
taboo.
Yeah, you were laughed at. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You were laughed at for being from Africa. There was a perception of Africa that we all needed help and we don't have fresh water. Right. We have flies on our faces. This is what you were seeing on TVs, comic relief and all of that. Yeah. Adverts in the night, like just saying, we need help, we need help, we need help. And things started to change where people started to then hear our music and people were like, we started to hear our music in more mainstream places. People were like, then they seen the dance and people were like, Then it started to change people's perceptions of Africa. Now, Africa has gone through a lot of hardship and we're still going through some hardship. However, we are the ones that want to be and should be in charge of our own destiny and our own destiny in which we are going to find our own liberation.
Shout out Burkina Faso.
Yeah, come on, 100%.
Like, man, come on.
Shout out the whole of Africa.
Yeah, man, there.
Revolution is real. Now, in saying that, it makes us very much welcoming to others who even wanting to learn because it's part of the push of changing people's perceptions of Africa. Also, on top of that, the globalization of Afrobeats is getting to the point like it's chasing hip hop.
But
it's right behind.
Really
you understand what I'm saying?
Really
right behind. But how long have we been vibing with Afro music? We have only been vibing with Afro music for like 15 years globally, like in the way we're doing so and consuming so now. However, you see the fire it's catching and is welcoming. I've seen people in their dance from Wales singing every single word to an Amapiano song, and I'm like, how do you even learn the words? Please understand, like,
how do you learn the words?
Do you know how beautiful it is, like growing up, and it was like you're being laughed at for being African, and now people are vibes into your music and etc. On top of that, some of the biggest dance influences in the world come from Africa. Yep. Even more specifically Ghana. Like someone like Endurance Grand.
We got hit.
She's young, she's vibrant, she's energetic. She's like our little sis. She's got 10 million TikTok followers.
And counting.
Do you understand? And counting. Let alone the whole of DWP and how many followers they have collectively. Like
must be 50 mil plus.
Like
must be 50 mil plus, has to be.
Yeah, like crazy. 50 mil plus. Like you have to understand how they've also been able to create a different life for themselves with the growth of the dance. They've been able to put themselves on a different pedestal and allowed access to so much more, traveling the world, teaching the dance. Like going all over, teaching the dance, growing the community and growing the love for the dance. This is different to just playing, this is my cypher, boom, 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 boom. You have to remember, like, a lot of people that are doing all of that are not even from the Bronx. Chill out.
like, come on, man. Like,
you're not even from there. It's an adopted culture.
That is very true.
It's an adopted culture. That's what it is. You were taught to be like that. You were taught to be beefy in a certain way. Right. You were taught to have that restriction in it. But it's technically not your culture. So it's something that you've learned. These people are using their culture and they're using their dance to find a way out, to find a way of pushing, to find a way of liberating their country and showing their country in a great light. That's then in turn adding to the economic growth of a country. You have to remember, before like Antenna, it wasn't really a thing to be a professional dancer within a country like Ghana. It wasn't a real job because how are you going to make money from it?
Yeah.
Now, even when you're signing a form like for a visa to get into Ghana, dancer is an option because there's so many. There's hundreds of dancers that are professional dancers that travel the world, that teach classes there, or are aspiring dancers and are training and using dances there full. That's what they're going to use to make it. Do you know how beautiful that is?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I wish we had that same energy in the same light as we in the UK, but it's so much harder, and it's seen as. What's hard about the UK, we kind of had the reverse. So it's like, we've got young people that really want to dance, and then you get to adulthood and you're like, can I actually make a living out of dance? And people don't know how to make a certain living out of dance. So what you find is that people will get a part-time job, and then the part-time job will take over, then it'll fizzle out, then you go to a couple cyphers, maybe a couple dance events, and then you just don't have time for it anymore. Or you spent so much of your time doing that your life is gone and you forgot to live life. Next thing you know, you're like 35, and you're like, oh, am I gonna get married, or am I gonna stuff? Like, these are the real things. Like, some people will say, some people won't say, but it's something that it does happen. But they're just using the dance to bring positivity and also to change their life circumstance. This is not a handout. This is not charity. This is them working hard, growing their dance, and being like, I'm a specialist. I'll be able to show you. I'm be able to bring you into that. Like, if we look at I Am Azonto and the Ghetto Studio in Ghana, if you know the amount of people from Europe, from Asia, from all across the world that go to that little studio to train,
just to train Azonto with that,
like it feels like it's a journey. Like, if you want to learn, it's a journey. Like
a pilgrimage.
It's like that kind of vibe. And for us, it's kind of what we've always wanted, because it was like, yes, it's spread so much that we have been able to not just grow the style, but we're able to grow the style and allow people back home to eat. Do you get what I'm saying? They're now also seeing the growth of the style, and also are going to benefit from the growth of the style, because the channeling and the energy is going back to them. Which is beautiful, because what it means is that they will then in turn get their opportunity to then travel and all of that, because it's just a matter of time. As long as you perfect your teaching and perfect your craft, you're going to get those opportunities. But it was never a handout. We all worked hard to get this done. We may have leveled the ground with sand, but they're putting down the tarmac. But someone else is then going to come through and draw the lines. Do you know what I mean? And then someone else is going to come through and put a speed camera, make sure everyone's going at the correct speed. Like, everyone's doing their part to grow the scene. And I think that is what's really beautiful about it. Hence why it's slightly different from the ciphers and stuff that you were saying.
But I love that, and I think it's great. Like, that welcoming energy is like one of my favorite, and that is, it's got to be a good percentage of the reason why it's spread and why it is chasing hip hop.
Well, it's not everywhere. I'm not gonna sell you a dream. There are some people that are a little bit more hostile because they've been brought up in like a beefy energy. That's not a problem. But at the end of the day, the music is also way too happy for.
Bro, this is
we ain't got time for that.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. It's like, when you have like a music that's so universally loved, it's so hot. And especially, not only is it universally loved music, but the music, you can't help but dance to the music. Like, it's just sometimes I'm driving in the car and you just start moving, and it's like, for me, it's like, that's also what made me fall in love with hip hop at the beginning. It's like when you hear like an old school like boom bap beat or something, my mum's doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think it's the same with Afro stuff. It's like, when you put on like just the right song, you're just heads nodding. That leads to anyone being like, teach me that move. Like, you know what I mean?
Rumba to like Dumbolo, then the Afro house, then the high life, hip life, to the Afro beats, to the, like, so many different sounds. And you also realize, like, sometimes you'll gravitate to a certain sound. Then it opens up a whole catalogue of different things, and it's like,
cool.
Oh, bro, this is my ish.
When I found South African house, bro, it's
different.
I was like, what is this? Like,
South Africa got some crazy sounds.
A lot of people go, like, because of Ama's rise. Amapiano's obviously rise is going crazy. But people will go into that gateway and then find SA House, which predates that.
You're right.
And if you want to go, now you got freestyle. If you want to go past that, you go back to Nom. And Nom is a different energy of like, the hard hitting darker sounds. But it's like that's like 4 sounds already from one place.
From what exactly? This is the thing.
Let
like,
alone if I travel
different.
west. And go north, like
One thing I was looking at is like, you know, I think it's also like you were saying the kind of the misconceptions about Africa and stuff like that, and it's like, I think one of the like for us maybe it's obvious, but maybe for the average person it's not. But it's like how Africa is grouped in to be like one place, right? And it's crazy when you think about like speaking about Africa as if it's one place or one culture, when it's like the size of that continent. It's like the distance. I would look this up actually just because I was curious. The distance between Ghana and South Africa,
6 hours.
You could fly from London to Egypt in the same time. Yeah. And it's like, if you think about the difference in culture from Egypt to London, and then you think about the difference in culture from South Africa to Ghana, like just distance wise of how far apart they are. And then you say, oh yeah, okay, call both of them Afro dances or Afro, you know what I mean? It's like, they're so different. I think that's what's so fascinating about it is like, there might be even people that are like, oh yeah, I don't like Afro dance. And it's like, which Afro? You like, because you might love South African house but hate Azonto. Like, they're all different things that you can like fall in love with separately.
Just umbrella terms.
I think what is confusing people is that because when they look at hip hop, there's categories, but people don't deep dive into certain categories the same way.
100%.
And
that's the problem in hip hop, I find.
And also you have to remember, it's different states that are championing different things. Where in Africa, it's countries which have culture and tribes, etc. So like even the genesis of the sound may come from a different place, and the grains and also their outlook and their approach to music production and sound, sonics is so different. So it can be such a refreshing atmosphere, but it's kind of like telling somebody to learn maths again. Like for some people it's hard work. Yeah. But some people will be like, okay, this is interesting. This is a challenge. Yeah. And hence why we're also pushing a positive light, because we know it can seem daunting, because some people may not be able to name me 10 countries in Africa, let alone 54. Yeah. So, and then some people may be worried that like, am I supposed to learn from all 54? No one is asking you to
honestly,
do that.
It's hard work. Speaking from kind of someone that's like on the outside of that community, it's like there is an element, and I find this with hip hop, with a lot of different styles, where it's like, let's say like the cypher that we were talking about, let's say there's like I don't know, like an Azonto song or whatever playing, and everybody's ciphering. Like I would feel in a way like, or let's say before I had any contact with the dancers here, I would feel like, oh, I can't go and just dance with them because I don't know this technique, I don't know that. And it's like, from my learnings with hip hop, I still hear people talk like that about like house dancers. Are like, oh, I can't go in the house cipher because I don't know any house steps. It's like, yeah, but you know how to dance and the music is playing, so just dance to it. And I think it was like, I have to say, Frankie J was probably the person that told me this, or like, this is ages ago, that he was like, I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but I was asking him about like, how do you go about learning house? And he was like, just start dancing to house music, however you want. And when you learn to dance to the house music, then you can start to build in like foundation and vocab. And I think that's something that's like really interesting with Afro dances, is kind of like, just find music that you love and dance to it. And then like later we can like, you don't have to start off an expert. It's like, just come and dance. And obviously, we have to make a distinction between going and teaching or putting yourself as like a figurehead. Don't do that. But going to a party and hanging out with Afro dancers and just jumping in and chilling is like, and now I kind of understand that's more of that, of like,
we can teach you
one-on-one, man.
We can teach you technique over time, but we can't teach you how to feel. That's what has to come from you. That's why our slogan's feeling first. Like, understanding that and understanding the theory of that is what is going to really allow you to, first of all, enjoy your dance. Like, sometimes you gotta shake people.
For real, man.
Are you actually enjoying yourself? Like, do you actually enjoy dancing? Yeah. Because the way you're moving is crazy.
You come on like science. Like it's not
science. You're doing everything right, but you look like it's the worst chore in the world.
I've never seen you so angry in your life. Like, do you actually enjoy doing this? Like, do you enjoy your dance? And do you also allow yourself to express yourself, or do you just tick a box? Step, groove, and then you're just going through a list of them to show that you know what you're doing, because you're so worried about what everyone else thinks that you're not actually enjoying the music.
100%.
Again, technique is important.
100%.
I'm not saying it's not, but we can teach you technique over time. Any great tutor and teacher of African dance styles will know how to teach you the technique, but we cannot teach you how to feel. That comes from you, hence why you're a product of your environment. But the more feeling you show us, the more we're going to be able to structure you and give you the movement that's going to suit you and give you that steeze that you need. Because that's what it is the steeze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get you to look like me. There's one of me, and I don't want to share.
I'm cool with that.
I want you I want you to look like you. I want you to find your dance in it. I want you to find how you move within it and how you empower yourself within it while still loving the music. You gotta love the music. If you don't love the music, then what are we doing here?
100%.
It's not possible.
Yeah,